Hey YouTube, this is a video of Phil. Meet Phil. This is my girlfriend's guitar. She absolutely hated it. Bought it new in about 2000, I think. It actually says 2000 on the 12th fret. So, but this thing is really bizarre looking. I'm trying to catch it just now with the daylight so you can actually see it. But that is a full-blown mother of pearl type inlaid eagle landing on whatever that is. It's a black. Is it a galaxy or something? I don't know. But this is a mighty fancy guitar. So it is. So it's a set neck. It's got like a scoop in the back there. It's two-strung like a Telecaster. That's an Elixir sticker. A wee bit of a slightly wobbly input because it's not been used very much. So, Phil guitars. So I'll run through it. Ridiculous overlaid mother of pearl eagle. It's got Seymour Duncan 59 pickups in it, which I was surprised at. I noticed that when I took when I first got it. I looked in the back and it had like braided cables on the pickups, which you normally only get on expensive pickups. So I took them out, looked at it and say Seymour Duncan 59 on the back of them. So that's what these are. The tuners are very high quality. They're unbranded. I've got binding on the neck, binding all the way around the body. So abalone all the way around the bound top. Some sort of likely could say veneer, but I'm not sure it would be a veneer. It's not supremely fancy wood, so I think it might actually be like a solid maple cap on it. Not sure. It wouldn't be very thick anyway because you can see the thickness of the binding. The body itself it's actually getting dark as I look at it. It's wood, but it's not bright enough in here to tell what it is. It's probably mahogany. Don't know. Guitar weighs average. Let's go for it. Cool fret markings. They're kind of like they've got like a really fancy abalone bit, V-shaped bit in the middle, and then a sort of white, more plain mother of pearly bit around the outside, and then it's got the 2000 on the thingy fret. Oh, is that 24 fret? 15, 17, 19, 21, 24 fret as well, which that's the first I've actually noticed the 24 fret. So, I mean, it's kind of like a PRS looking, maybe. I think it's Fender scale. What was it I meant to measure the other day, actually? I couldn't find thingy. I think it's... No, it's Gibson scale. So it's 24 and 3/4 inch scale. 24 frets. It's actually a little bit sort of BC Richie, actually, I suppose, if you look at it that way. Phil, this was bought, as I said, by Civet in Taipei. Taipei, I don't know how to pronounce it. T-A-P-I-E. T-A-P-I-A. In Taiwan, anyway. And do you reckon the Phil was from the Philippines, which is where this was apparently made? I'm not sure how true that is. Also, I think there's a slight translation error. I think Phil is like feel, as in, which kind of makes sense if you're going to call it feel, not if you're going to translate it into English. It's like Phil, my pal Phil, you know what I mean? So that kind of just makes it a bit more interesting. But it is a high quality guitar. I think it's probably Korean, but I really don't know. It could be. Maybe it is Philippines. The only thing that to me makes me think that it's not high end is if you look at the where it's this where the fat E string goes through, that isn't quite the right place. I want that just to be a millimetre in this way to make it line up perfectly. Now, these are all perfectly spaced out. This one's just a wee bit off, which I find annoying. But I mean, if you've never noticed it, you've never noticed it. It's too strong. So I'm thinking I might actually use this guitar live to annoy Civet, but it really plays nice. I mean, I think I've had this for a couple of years now, and these are Elixir strings on it, so they're old ones, but it's a nice guitar. And I've never been a fan of Seymour Duncan pickups, but these ones work really well clean as well. No coil splitting or anything. So, the reason Civet bought this one is she wanted a Gibson SG, and in the shop in Taiwan, which actually I looked up, it was quite bizarre. I actually look it up on Google Earth, and it was like I got like a walk around the shop that she bought it in. So I was like, which one was it? And it was like, oh, it was that one. Great, kind of walking around a shop that someone had been in 20 years ago buying a guitar, or 19 years ago. Quite surreal. But couldn't afford the Gibson SG, which was 700 somethings. And this was 500 somethings, so I don't know. I mean, what is a? If you what's a? I'd imagine it would be like an SG special. I don't know how the pricing would have worked in Taiwan. If they were the same prices here, 700. What was an SG special back then? 550 or something like that, maybe. So this would be 400 and something, 400 odd quid. Don't know, something like that. Missed about the chorus pedal a wee bit. Made a bit of an arse of that, didn't I? Try again. Bizarrely, this is in this particular riff, I just made up appears to be in D. Maybe not. Pedal. That twin note fuzz pedal was amazing. It's only 16 quid. Maybe it doesn't do a very wide range of sounds, but that's the one I want. of folk commented they thought the phaser sounded good the other day. The chorus pedal. And delay, which I never used either, I still just sit on. I really don't like delay. I feel I should be standing like in front of a church in the middle of the desert. I was going to say it's a bit show-offy, but I like showing off, so I don't know why I don't like it. Wish I had my Yamaha flanger plugged in. So, fill guitars, fantastic. I have seen a couple of, the only other fills I've seen when I was looking, I had a wee look for them, you get a Fill Pro which I'm not sure how related to this it is. It does look like it's the same sort of font that says Phil, but the only ones I've seen have been Stratocasters. I've not seen one like this. I do remember finding... I got Civet to ask the guy who ran the shop in Taiwan where he bought it what this was, and he gave me the model number, which I believe I did a video of this 2 years ago on the other house when I had like the shit sound and the shit video recorder. So I might look that up and see if I can find what model number was, because when I got the model number I typed it into Google and it came up with another company. I can't the life of me remember what it was, but they had one of these, and it was, apart from it was blue, and it was I think from 20 years ago, and it was a signature model from somebody. I can't remember who it was. Some American dude. I want to say Hutchins, something like Hutchinson, something like that, like a name that's better than Phil, but the same guitar. But what a thing this is. So I'm going to take this into the studio with Cranking House and use it, just because it's cool. It's got everything I like about it. The shape is a bit nah. You know, it doesn't really have a shape. It's just a kind of something in the middle of between things. It's actually quite big. You know, from here to here, it's kind of almost getting towards not the 335. You know, there's a sort of there's a smaller version of 335. I bet it's probably only an inch bigger, but it looks quite big. Feels fine. It's got like it doesn't have a body contour. It fits well. It's like a comfortable design, if not particularly flash. Apart from the fact it's got a fucking gold eagle, mother of pearl, coming into land on what could be a carpet. Don't know. Anyway, rock on. Phil guitars. It's cool, and for me, the comedy value of it being called Phil is worth its weight in gold as well. My pal Aaron bought a guitar in Japan, and it was what was the company? It's Edwards, who make like expensive Japanese Les Paul copies. You know, they're very highly regarded, and they've got their own sort of Squire version, and it's called Brian. And it was like, and I wish I'd had the money at the time. He had like a Les Paul, like a sort of like an Epiphone Les Paul type thing, and it said Brian on the headstock. I thought, Brian, that's as good as Phil. So Phil and Brian would have gone well together. Just a translation thing. Rock and roll.